Ladies and gentlemen, it's Tito Clock. So please welcome your host, James Deacon.
Well, hello, everybody. Hi. What's up, guys? It's a Tita Tuesday. It's me, Tita James. Woohoo! Hi. Yep. We are into the last day, folks, of MECQ. Well, at least for now, until they spin that wheel again and say, what's it going to be? GCQ, MECQ, ECQ. Kind of feels a little random, doesn't it? But, good news is, well, for those who have been struggling, trying to get back into business, well, your chance will happen tomorrow. So GCQ, everyone knows that now. So it's not big news, but I hope you're all prepared. And I hope that even though it's opened up and there's good reason, especially like the businesses that are suffering, people who need to work, I still hope that we take our personal safety very, very seriously, and we don't also put each other at unnecessary risk, regardless of whether it's G or E or MEC, whatever kind of version of the Q it is. Let's just make sure that we're always mindful of ourselves and our immediate surroundings, because I guess we're at the stage now where all of this doesn't mean much because, well, I guess you see people doing their own thing, right? Like in Cebu. Do you have that thing in Cebu? Remember that Sunstar one? Of those people doing cockfights, and they were doing a bunch of unmasked. Here we go. Look at this. This is the kind of example I'm talking about, where your personal safety, just how you can have all the government regulations you want, all the MECQs and stuff like that. But if stuff like this is happening, you're having unmasked cockfights and stuff like that, in big groups, and no social distancing, etc. And one of those people ends up coming to your home or work or whatever to do whatever they have to do, that's it. You're only as safe as the most irresponsible person that you allow into your circle, and you'll just never know, right? So that's why I'm always like, regardless what form of the cues that we fall into, let's just have our own personal standards for hygiene, safety, social distancing, etc. Because at the moment, it's almost every man for himself, right? Okay, let's check out some more of the headlines. But while X is preparing that, let me just do a quick shout out to some of the Tita Clockers out there. Let's see who was first. Cici Abad, nice. Charlene Manyalak, hi. Mark Loxin, May Ann, Angela Dumalog, Tonko, Annie Grace Ram. Next, Sora JJ. Oh, the regulars are all here. Lorraine Lambayan Santiago, Sydney Concepcion Pasia, and Ian Pineda. So Daniel Garcia. Are you first, Daniel? Is he first? I think you're not quite, Daniel. Or I don't know. Doesn't really matter. But 503. But good to see you all, guys. Arvin and the rest of them. Let's clear up a little bit of the inbox before we bring Tita Steph in, because it is a Tita Tuesday, of course. So let's do some quick rounds and clear this one out. I don't know. Do you believe this or not? Or do you think this is a bit more fear-mongering? What's going on? Because, man, we haven't even dealt with the last one. We're going to have to deal with this one too. Please, no. Wag naman sana po. Please, ma'am, sir. Ayoko. But, if we don't take care of ourselves and we don't start following our own protocols, this is bound to happen. But anyway, I don't know enough about it to comment on it. So let us move on. But why that picture? Is that really what a mutated coronavirus looks like? What on earth is that? It looks like moldy fruit or a broccoli that's been left out for too long. Okay, anyway. Next up. Next in the headlines we have, this is quite touching. Posted this kanina. Let's see. This is another reminder, as beautiful as it is, because it is, obviously a nice act of human compassion and kindness and stuff like that. But obviously, this highlights the fact that no matter how bad your situation is, let me see if this is working. Is this working? Find the zoom is not so, or the focus is not enough. But anyway, try our best. So it just, for me, highlights the fact that we have, no matter how bad your situation is, there's always somebody who's got it worse than you. So just always be very mindful of that. I'm going to try and fix this up. Sorry. I don't know what's going on here. Okay, can you put it on me a little, X? Because Got to figure out the zoom thing here, or not the zoom, but the focus. No, jeez, it's supposed to have autofocus, but okay, that's the best I can do for now. Short notice. All right, sorry about that. Okay, at least it's not blurry. So yeah, it just highlights the fact that you know what, no matter how bad it is, there's always somebody who's in a more desperate situation than you, and always remember there's always somebody willing to swap places with you, no matter how bad it gets. Just know that it can always be worse. So let's just always spare thought for people who have a lot less in life, just like this homeless person who was. Can you imagine being homeless in a pandemic and then having to give birth on a sidewalk, not knowing, not having any 2 cents to rub together? It's pretty frustrating. A true Call of Duty. Yeah, exactly. I love it. I love their caption too. Call of Duty. Okay, next up we have. Let's clear out this inbox. Oh, yeah, this one. This is an Italian cartoon from somewhere around the 50s, I think. And this is how they predicted the world would look like. How close is that? We're not far off it, you know? We're just like, those are just like extended face masks now. It's starting to get there. It's starting to all come true. All the conspiracy theories and stuff like that. It's kind of freaky. Okay, let's run through it a little more. What's this one again? Oh yeah. So I don't know if this is good news or bad news. I'm gathering it's good news because the fact that you can, the epicenter of where it started, can have this now. In some ways, is very, very encouraging. In other ways, it's kind of a slap in the face that many people feel that they gave it to us and now, or gave it to the world, not just us. They gave it to the world and now they're celebrating on inflatables. So I can imagine the mixed reactions. What are your reactions to this photo? That's just my own personal thing. It's like, on one hand, I am happy because I look at it and I think, okay, that means there's hope, right? If Wuhan can survive and Wuhan can go back within 6 months or 8 months, I guess, for them, and have pool parties, I'm guessing it's over for them. I mean, that's one way to look at it. The other way is like, yeah, man, you gave it to the rest of the world and now you're celebrating, and it just kind of gives you bad vibes. So let me know how you feel about that. I'm dying to know. Hi. Next up, X, what we got? Okay, yeah. When you, if you're a tricycle driver that has to work from home, why not take the home with you? You can't really argue. Just said it's not specific that it has to be a stationary home, right? I love this one. Next up, we got. Okay, what's this? Oh my gosh, this is this is about as organic as it can get. Why didn't I see this one earlier? This one should be posted for sure. Look at this guy. I love it. I love it. When they say use your coconut, man, this guy really uses your coconut. I love it. This is too cool. Ay, nako. All right. They give it a bit of a check. Do we have more? We're good? Okay. All right, everybody knows what day it is. When it's Tita Tuesday, it means it's a very special day because we have a very special person in the studios, well, sort of virtually. You all know her as Tita Steph, so please welcome her up, Stephanie Zubiri. Hello, Tita Steph.
Hi. Hello.
Wow,
Good
working
morning.
out. All right.
Yeah, sorry. It's like workout and work from home at the same time.
Ayos. Ayos. Wow, this is a nice Tita Tuesday vibe in workout clothes. That's
Yeah,
you.
I had no time to change today. Everything was kind of like back to back. And usually I like to put on a pretty dress for Tita Tuesday, but this would have to suffice. I'm sorry.
I'm sure there are some guys out there that do not need an apology. They're probably just workout clothes have their own appeal. I think I personally think it's great. So you're looking good, Steph. It's all
Thank
good.
you.
How have you been? How's the week been for you?
It's been a very busy week and I'm very grateful. I think it's I'm happy that you're talking about all the alphabets like MECQ,
Mm.
GCQ. For me, it's like A1Q, A1 ko. I don't know, man. I think Fortunately for me, I've been able to just keep moving forward, taking one day at a time, and really just, there's a lot of work coming in. So I am very, very, very thankful. And this whole new sort of internet broadcasting stuff has really worked out. And I've been able to have quality time and quality work at the same time. So I'm very glad that I'm in an industry where we can really work remotely. So that's quite cool.
Well, look
Yeah.
at Albert saying, I envy
Hi,
how smooth
Albert.
your internet connections are because while you're saying that, which is true, your stream looks very good. We had Albert on yesterday and it was just like, oh man, the internet bandwidth. The speeds were like, it felt like sucking a golf ball through a garden hose, that kind of feeling. That's how
That
slow it was.
happens, yeah. Especially when it rains, man.
I hate that. I hate that. I was just telling X that because I was like, we had to restart the whole system here again, and usually we're now in the habit of restarting it always before the show because I don't know, just clear out all the bugs type of thing. And I was just mentioning
Yeah.
that I go, when you say, "Oh, my internet's so slow," and somebody goes, "Eh, kasi umuulan." It's like
Yeah,
what?
you're like, why? It should still work. I know all my friends in like developed countries, they're like, why is it so bad? I'm like, oh, it's raining. He's like, why is that a
Yeah,
problem? I'm like,
exactly.
I don't know. It's like when like it's raining, it's traffic. It's raining,
Yeah.
like the internet's bad. How about you? How was your week?
How was my week? Oh, it's pretty. It's just started, so it's pretty good. We're like you. I'm getting into into a different kind of groove, which is finally
Yeah.
find its rhythm, which is the online hosting and the online events and stuff like that. So I'm finding my way through there. Aside from that, the on a personal note, it's just frustrating because I've had well, maybe not me personally. I'm sure there are other people with worse stories, but it feels like I have the longest renovation in the history of renovation.
Oh, that's everyone. Like, if they tell you it's gonna take 3 months, just double it and
Well,
then some.
that's in normal. That's in normal conditions, right? Because you're no
Yeah, so
stranger.
this is like exponential times
Add
three, then times three
exactly,
again.
and add the spinning wheel of cues, and then it's
Yeah, it's
like so it's
crazy.
March, which was they first started March, and then can you imagine March? It was like one day in, boom, lockdown now. So one
So
day, that's it.
I have a leak. I've been having a leak in my kitchen since before lockdown that they were supposed to fix and then it got locked down. So they couldn't fix it. So the whole time during lockdown, I had to live with like, balde balde in the house, right? Yeah, like balde. And it's like, tong, 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 tong. So like for 3 months, and finally the guys came in. They tried to fit. I had to test them. I rapid test them before they come in. They're dressed up like they're astronauts, so they're trying to like fix it, and then they're like, "Okay, ma'am, we'll come back again next week if there's another leak." I'm like, "Okay, we'll check," and then they were supposed to come back. I and then naman lockdown na naman. It's been like 6 months to fix one leak. Okay, I still have the balde. It's still there. Oh my
I
gosh.
feel yeah,
So
I feel yeah, because it's been the same for me with the renovations. But yeah, something as small as a leak, if you can't get workers in and stuff like that, it does prolong it. So then they came
yeah.
back, obviously in the GCQ they came back, but the building had their own restrictions and all that. So it took like it wasn't day one of GCQ, it was like week two. So by the time all the permits were finished and all that, because you had to reapply, you get in, and they're back
Lockout.
in. They hit. I think they literally hit one nail into the wall, and MECQ na again. So now what the hell? So there's walls that are taken down.
Oh
There
my god.
there's paraphernalia everywhere. There's construction material everywhere. So, but like I always say, this is just I'm just sharing, but not bitching because look at the photo we showed of the homeless person giving birth.
Yes.
That's just one example of millions of people who have their own. Everyone has their own struggles. So,
Yeah,
you know,
and I think, one day at a time as well. And we have to remind ourselves big problems or small problems, they're still problems. They need to be honored and recognized and dealt with, whatever, however superficial or however dire, right? And not brushed under the rug. But I guess it's just one day at a time. And I find that a lot of my peers are doing the same. It's like, I'm going to get through this day and then we'll restart again tomorrow. Like I can't plan ahead, right? For example, yeah, I mean it's crazy. It's crazy time. That's okay. We're
And
adapting.
you're near the Poblacion area, right? So without
Yeah.
giving too detailed a number, but you're in the Poblacion.
Yeah, don't come knocking on my door.
What's the vibe like there now? What's the vibe? I
Oh,
mean, 'cause
it's very, very quiet compared to before. I loved living here. It was super vibrant. Like, I love being able to walk. Like, I would walk to restaurants. I would walk to, just like hang out with my friends or go to all the little stores and bars, and it's different. It's I think it has been sadly one of the hardest hit during the pandemic, which is sad because I thought it gave a lot of fresh life and vibrancy to Metro Manila. It was an organic development, a lot of uh, sole proprietors, little small mom and pop shops, cute little eateries. And but those are the people who have a difficult time surviving these hard times because obviously they're landlords at some point. They need to collect rent. No one's walking around in the pandemic. These spaces are quite small. So, how are you going to reduce to 30% or 50% capacity when you're really only serving 10, 20 people at a time? It's very sad. I hope I mean, I've known like a lot of really iconic places have shut down, so I hope, you know.
no,
Um,
NoCal was
yeah,
one of the nicer ones there that had to shut down as well. And so yeah, that whole vibe there, that's like, I know a lot of people call that the Malate of Makati, right? It kind of
yeah.
took over that whole vibe and that whole artistic and vibe and sayang because it was just starting to find its groove and then really get that cultural, not culture, but
I
it
have a
had.
neighbor pala, Mark Del Mundo. Hi, magkabarangay.
Ayun, ayun. Well, we had Albert on yesterday talking about the state of the restaurant industry, and
Yeah.
hopefully, and we're hoping it can bounce back. So, it's really quite devastating that how this whole thing has affected everybody.
It is, and I think the problem with F&B, unlike let's say retail, and other industries, is that you need to have a certain level of trust, and I think that nowadays people are quite afraid. You have to change mentalities about where you will sit and eat, or the plate sterilized, or I mean, it's just a whole nother level of, I guess, intimacy, right? There's a lot of people are preparing your food, you're eating off cutlery, has this been cleaned? It's going to be difficult, I think, for people to get that trust back. And but I guess, guys, you support your local establishments as much as you can. If you want your favorite restaurants to stay open, do order out from them. Even if it's just takeout, I think this is the only way these guys are gonna survive.
Yeah, yeah. Let's all support each other, and get these businesses back up. Because I was just surprised to know that the learnings from yesterday were like Albert having 5 places, 5 establishments, has 180 staff. So you imagine he's one of the smaller ones when
Yeah.
you consider. So it gets my mind sort of blowing because unfortunately there were not enough figures that anyone could share on what percentage of rest of the economy comes from the restaurant industry and the bar industry. It would be
Well,
interesting. Do you
yeah,
have
I
that?
don't I don't have that number, but I do know that there are thousands and thousands of people employed in this industry. I mean, you have I mean, just think of the catering industry, right? I used to have a restaurant. All my waiters used to be cater waiters because I had a catering business. Many of these guys are freelance, right? I mean, they'll take like catering events left and right, maybe one a day. They'll work 5, 6 days a week. They're getting what, 500, 600 to $1,000 a day, depending on tip, depending on event, whatever. All of a sudden, they have no income, like zero, right? And this is a skill. It's not like suddenly overnight they're going to be a carpentero, right? I mean, they've been waiters, service staff, cooks. A lot of them are freelance, and it's really tough. I mean, yeah, I hope there you go. I mean,
Yeah,
all these restaurants are really closing. It's super sad. But I do believe that there will be a renaissance. I do believe that there will be people who will come out there And you've seen a lot of successful pivoting and rebranding of restaurants, selling their food, repackaging their food, or turning into bakeries. So another cool thing is there are a lot of home bakers and home restaurateurs and entrepreneurs, right? So I think that's a whole new industry as well that's just started. So a lot of people are just smaller scale and getting extra income that way.
Okay. Let's shift a little bit. Your when do your kids go to? Are they going to be taking any classes soon? They're too young, or when?
They're already in school.
Okay. So what's the deal?
Homeschool via Zoom.
Mhm.
Um, I'm I'm very lucky. I'm almost ashamed to say what I'm about to say, but I'm very, very lucky. Um, I have a live-in teacher for them at the moment.
Living. Wow.
Yes, yeah, I had the room, I had the extra space, and I found so unfortunately my youngest son's preschool is closed indefinitely. I mean, at least for the school year. And so as soon as I found out, I actually sort of preempted this whole schooling at home thing. So I emailed the school and I said, would anyone be interested in a live-in position? I have the space. They can go see their families once a month. It's just, you know, uh, and you'll be well compensated. So the great thing is, I've been able to find friends from, of just one classmate each of my kids whose household I trust. We all do our rapid testing and regular testing, super close circle, and they will not during MECQ but GCQ, they share the cost with me. So really I'm not paying that much, but I have this incredible woman who's really helping implement all the homeschool because to be honest, my children will be bobo if I taught them all this year, okay? It's like, oh my God, I did it last. I did it for the tail end of last semester. My son and I were like butting heads. They don't want to learn with mama. They want to play with mama, right?
Yeah,
Like, and I'm not a teacher. That's really a professional job. I'm also a full-time single working mom, right?
true.
So, my son's school is like up to 2 p.m. And then there's the little one, pa. So when do you work, right? I feel for all the moms out there, especially the working moms. Salute, hats off. I had to outsource this and think kind of out of the box for this because I mean, I have to work, so very lucky. And honestly, it's not costing me that much a month because I'm able to share with other people whose households I trust who are in the same school, same grade as my kids. So we share the cost. I just house her and she's so lovely and I'm super happy. Yeah, I'm
That's
so
okay.
lucky.
You are. You are. That's at least you know that because that's the most important thing. You know that you're lucky because it
Yeah.
also seems to have helped the teacher out. If I'm not, if I'm,
Yeah.
obviously things were different if they closed the school down indefinitely and she was there. That gives all opportunity. Well, we all have to, as the bank says, find ways, right? We all
Yeah.
have to find ways. We just can't. It's just about adjusting. And how are you adjusting now, or looking forward to the GCQ? Do you have any new plans? Do you have any new protocols or anything?
I'm gonna look. I've kept my circles tight. If you've all heard of travel bubbles, I have social bubbles, right? I really only see people who I know and trust that they get rapid tested regularly. They're quite vigilant about who they see. Um, I'm not I try to restrict also like the number of people I see at a time just so that in case anything happens, it's like contact tracing, it's easier, right? And limit my social events per week or socials. Like I mean I maybe do maximum to see people outside my household twice a week. I've just been very much at home most of the time with my kids, working out, fitness, and doing all my work. And twice a week is good enough for me, or once a week I see some friends, or maybe one on one, but um, I'm not looking forward really to. I'm happy that we have no more crazy big events, to be honest, like how we used to have. You used to be like me. You'd have to show your face at so many events, and
Mm.
obviously that was our work too. And host them, it's quite hectic. And it seemed and meetings, and I like that we can still do this, like virtually, right? I mean, it's nice.
Yeah, it is. And especially now coming
Hmm.
up, September is officially Christmas, right? It's here in the Philippines. So,
So Mary Chan's like peeking out the window.
malapit
Handa
na.
na, handa na. Malapit na. No, oh my God, that song.
Yeah, but now we're going to be into the Burr months. Before in a blink, we're going to be in the Burr months already, and
Crazy.
traffic's going to go crazy, and then the events. So in that regard, yeah, I hope that we don't try to make it up in the December events and stuff like that. Even if we start, the cases go down, let's just build slowly and put the right things in place instead of just everything back where it was. There's just so
Agree.
much room to make it more efficient and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
yeah, I'm with you. I don't know how to explain it, Steph. It's like because it feels like you're not told it's 6 months. You're told it's gonna be 2 weeks, 3 weeks, a month at the
Yeah.
most, right? So the roller coaster never really ends. The light at the end of the tunnel never seems to get any bigger. It's just, in fact, sometimes it just dims down. And you're like, what? Where'd it go?
Yeah.
It's supposed to get bigger, even every day, just a smaller bit bigger. That light at the end
But
of the
you know
tunnel.
what? I think
Like,
this is a good learning for all of us as well to really be a bit more mindful of today. I think one of the lessons that I found with this whole thing is that I just kept living my life in anticipation for the next thing, the next big thing, the next trip, the next project, the next this. And I really managed to sort of like slow down and just focus and enjoy on today, right? And manage today's problems, manage today's issues, manage to, rather than being, how else can you do it? Like you'll just live in disappointment because everything is so, up in the air, man. Up in the
yeah.
air.
Hey, I don't know if I should bring this up because it's kind of, well, it's a very sensitive topic, but and I don't want to get anyone to any deeper trouble here, but there's this thing going. I mean, like in our some parents groups, right? Apparently, without mentioning or even giving clues away, but there is this situation right now with what would you do if a teacher or principal was over familiar with students and using, you know,
Oh,
secret messages, pet names.
online like
Well,
that.
obviously it's not on. Yeah, it's obviously direct. Pero nahuli. What
Oh,
would you?
look,
Hmm.
I would be very vocal and open about this. I would call them out. I don't, I think it's highly inappropriate. I think
Yeah, me too. It's
this
not.
is it's a space of trust. Um the teacher and the student, I really believe that, it's, you have to have trust. You have to be able to trust. So as a parent, if I discovered this, I would bring it up to the school.
Well, it's already discovered. It's already brought up in the school. It's all. I just don't want to get,
Yeah.
like it's just being chatted about just before I got on air, and it's
Hmm.
getting quite. So there's no. It's not like it's a secret anymore, but it's
Yeah.
everyone's trying to go through damage control, but it's upsetting because not giving too much away. It's very close to my. I'm connected in some way, so put it that way.
Okay.
Um, and I don't know. It's not sitting well at all because, like you said, and I think that's a perfect way to put it. It's a space of trust. So it's just the
Yeah.
kind of thing that if you, I'm just not. It's just not sitting comfortable. And you can tell I'm kind of uncomfortable talking about it
Also,
because
is it like, did other students come forward? Is it a
yes,
regular thing? Oh, okay. So
well,
then
no,
that's something you bring up with the school, right?
not
And
naman
the board.
random, like, not naman every no. So I mean, just to it, it's one particular student in particular, and even though the student now is of age, the classmates are saying no, this was happening way before she was of age, and we there's
Oh,
nothing established physically. Nobody's there yet in that space, but from the messaging alone, it's completely inappropriate. It's already, if you read it, you'd be like, hey, this is not this. You cannot be. And then, yes, it was found out later there are others, but it's not rampant naman. It's not like every student or
Yeah,
every.
but still, I mean, clearly, like when we talk about, and I'm not saying that this, I have no idea, okay,
Yeah,
guys, just
because I'm
disclaimer, I have
deliberately
no
saying
idea
no
what is
idea.
going on here. But if we're gonna talk about in general, quote unquote, predatory behavior, it's not necessarily gonna be rampant with everybody. They're gonna pick and choose the people who are gonna stay quiet about this for a while, or they're going to sort of like the people who are shy and receptive and you know and I believe and I guess like look, playing devil's advocate here, when once you hit like an older high school age, and then like maybe it's like a young teacher. I mean, look at Macron, right? Like Macron and his wife. I mean, they met in school. She was his teacher. Eventually, they got married, and I'm not saying that that's okay, but that's okay with him. But it's a difficult, I would say it's a difficult space, but more than anything, there should be no breach of trust. Meaning, if the student, no matter how old or young or of age or whatever it is, feels uncomfortable, that shouldn't be happening. Whatever it is, whether it's messaging or this, then that means it's already borderline inappropriate. So if the
Well, that's
student is feeling
no.
uncomfortable, then
It doesn't seem like.
clearly it's inappropriate. Yeah.
I think the issue is the actual student is not feeling comfortable because there's a relationship already of some sort. So it's not.
Oh,
Yeah. So it's not like I'm. It's not like
oh,
the student is
okay.
feeling encroached upon. The student's very actively, it's a backward and forward thing. So it's
So
it's a
this,
very.
oh,
Yeah.
okay. I
And
see.
then
So
I
that's
mean,
a different
it
story.
is different because like it's just been. Yeah, as you can see, it's not. It's
Yeah.
medyo hilaw pa to, and I'm a little uncomfortable, but I'm bothered by it because it's like trying to run through my head the whole thing that okay, even if the student is okay with it, it's still just inappropriate behavior, and that affects everybody. I mean, it affects the other students too because it's just like as you said, breach of trust, or that's a space
Yeah.
where really it should be just completely. Anyway, maybe we should move on because I'm probably going to get
It's
into
just,
more
it's
trouble.
a tough situation. I mean, the president of France met his current wife in that situation. So, it's very, very difficult to discern those blurred lines, especially when they're like like at the age or cusp of coming of age into, if you're like 17, 18, it's a very difficult situation, and I don't know anything about it, so I do not wish to comment. It's just if it's an uncomfortable situation for anybody, whether that's the school, the administration, the parents, the student, um, then it's perhaps inappropriate and should be, yeah, like removed from context or whatever. I
Oh,
mean, if they're really in love, it should be after, you know?
I think this is the one I was thinking of. I'm not sure if that's Mary Kay, a U.S. teacher, a 12-year-old boy. Is this the same one? Is he like? Does he look a little bit Islander or darkish skin? Is that the same
I
guy?
don't know this one. I don't.
If that's the
12
same
is
one,
young.
it
12,
was
12 is young.
okay.
That's like
But she
predatory.
went to jail. She went to jail. If this is the same one, right? If this is the same one that
Okay.
so she went to jail because yeah, he was 12 and they had, but then they had three kids and got married after two or three kids, two kids I think.
Mm.
Yeah. So in the end, despite all that, when she got out of jail, they
Yeah.
married each other. Pretty yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I don't know what to say.
He's not 12 now. He's
I,
not 12 now,
I,
but yeah, big case.
I, yeah. I mean, it's like, don't know.
Okay, let's move
It's
on.
like if, yeah. Wait,
It's
I don't have wine. Where's my wine today? Everyone
I
was
know
asking
everyone's
where's my
asking where your
wine.
wine is. Where your wine is. I mean, like
I
normally.
drank I drank quite a bit last night because I was like stressed about something. So I'm trying to be a little bit good today. But that just made me want to have a drink, and I'm like, I too big lang.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Me too. I don't even have my Buku juice or Coke Zero here. I'm just like, ah. Anyway.
So I have a
You go.
question for you. We were talking about food.
Mhm.
I wanted to talk about so tomorrow I have another of my IG lives with the iconic Josie Natori, right? She founded Natori Company, Filipina. I mean, she's amazing. Um, and she's got this multi-million dollar like fashion retail company in the US, right? And my topic is, and I thought maybe we could discuss that. So tomorrow, that's at 8 p.m. It's a bit later than usual, because she's in New York, so she'll be patching in at 8 a.m. in New York. So please watch. Very interesting, very inspiring woman. So the topic is fashion still relevant today? What are your thoughts on that?
You know,
Do you think
no. I
fashion
mean,
is
you
relevant?
personally, but fashion's never really been that relevant for me, even before ECQ and COVID.
Yeah.
So
Or like luxury products in general, like, okay, like like that type of thing. Is it still relevant?
it will be soon, but it's less relevant now because we
Hmm.
don't really have an opportunity to flaunt is a strong word, but for lack of
Yeah,
a better one, luxury and this most of the luxury items are positioned around status. So a lot of
true.
people, I know it's luxury can mean different things to different people, and you can have your own personal. I like to have this type of painting that I don't care if anyone sees it or not. It makes me
Yeah,
happy. So there's that type. But a lot of luxury is status. So it's to show I have this brand bag, I have this brand shoes, I have
true.
this. So if you don't have anyone to show that to, it becomes less relevant. And you could also be posting your bags online and stuff, going, well, I can show it online. Yeah, but we know you're not going anywhere because it's ECQ. So
Yeah.
that's the part where I would say not relevant now, but it will bounce back because it's part of our DNA as humans. We need to have something to aspire to, and status symbols are always going to be part of our genetic makeup.
I think fashion will change significantly though, because I mean, a lot of people want are working from home, and the usage of fashion has become much more, I would say, in a better way, more personal, less flaunty, and I want to wear something because it makes me feel good, which is how it should be to begin with, right? So if you want to wear your ball gown at home, go ahead. Um, but I think it will change significantly, and perhaps, less seasons, no it trends, more comfort. I mean, look at me, like I spent all day in my exercise clothes, right? So I think um the use and purpose of fashion and luxury might change. And also perhaps people will buy luxury for quality, things that will last longer. I mean, I think that's a good direction if that's the way it goes. Do you guys have any thoughts out there? Like, I would love to hear from the ladies in the audience. Like, are you still buying clothes online? I mean, I do shop online sometimes, and I'm like, I don't know where I'm gonna wear this dress, but I'll buy it anyway. You know, I think it's still relevant. Some people kept their sanity because of it. Okay, that's nice. That's true. I mean, if you look pretty, you feel pretty, right? And you people are still being fashionable. There are face masks matching
Yeah,
headbands.
I
That's
like that
true.
idea because that's a
Here,
necessity. So you may as well make it look pretty. What's that? Oh,
my
that's so.
face, my face mask.
Oh,
How
that's so nice.
cute, right? So this is I didn't even realize I was going to plug it. It was just on my desk, but it's my cousin Rosana Ocampo, who's a designer, who started doing hand embroidered face masks to keep her staff like fed, and because she was not selling anything. So she did this with all the retazos, and then she hand embroidered it herself and gave all the proceeds to her staff, the sewers and everything. So super nice. You can check it out. Rosana Ocampo, she sells them. They're really cute and washable. I agree, Tita James. If it's luxury, it's not now, but there are designers who make clothes that are pandemic friendly. Do you wear those things? Those like outer suits and stuff?
No, but I wear the Darth Vader one now. Where is that?
The Darth Vader face mask?
Yeah, I wear the Darth Vader face mask because it's just that's kind of cool. Well, you don't have to get it. It's all right. Oh well, okay, X is gonna look for it. It's kind of cool because at least there you're making a statement. So it's more
Yeah.
like what the
We saw
okay.
X.
So yeah,
Yay.
there's the Darth Vader face mask because it's kind of, oh, there you go.
Oh, that's super cute. I have to get one for my kids. Oh my God, they would love that. That's super cute.
You can
That's
walk up.
funny.
Um, Luke, my son. I
I am your father.
am
Yeah.
your father. Yeah.
Yeah, I
So
get it's cute. That's
which one
fun.
from your ex? Do you remember which one? This one, because a couple of people sent. I want to make sure they get their proper because this is so cool, right? I mean, like you're gonna make a statement. I don't know if you wear it every single time, but I can see clearly. Like the actual thing on the side doesn't bother me at all, so I can see clearly out of the eyes. But
Yeah.
this is for me fashion that makes sense because at least you're like, okay, it's something you have to wear. I guess when I was answering Kanina, fashion that doesn't make sense for me, it's like, yeah, getting dressed to the nines, but nowhere to go. So all dressed up and nowhere to go. That doesn't make sense to me. But yeah, if you have to wear a nice face mask with a nice headband that matches,
Yeah.
or a face shield that's got the thing on it. Okay, this is from Made It Custom Designs or
Super
Christine.
cute.
Yeah, so they have an IG page, Made It Custom Designs, and it's super cool. There you go.
So, just to like carry on what you said earlier, I kind of disagree with you. It's like my kids in high, we have fancy dinner and we dress up for like fancy dinner at home. We like put our nice stuff and then we get dressed up and like I guess I mean there is technically nowhere to go, but I'm sure your wife would appreciate you getting all fancied up for her at home once in a while. Put on that tux.
Probably. Where do you work out, by the way? I mean, is it just at home? Is it
It
all strictly
doesn't,
home?
I mean, there's no, yeah. So I discovered exercising at home because it kept me sane. It was one of the things that really kept me, I would say, not go crazy. Every time I felt anxiety, every time I got stressed or sad, I would just exercise. I've been training with Nika Sandra, who is a personal trainer. She used to train one like in person before, but it's all from Zoom. I find it extremely effective and efficient, and I don't spend time going to the gym and this. And, she's got workouts sometimes with equipment, sometimes no equipment. So I kind of converted a space into like an exercise space, right? There's a lot of workouts at online at home as well. Do you exercise at home?
I just started like planking and basic stuff like that, but nothing with real routines per se. That's why I wanted
Yeah.
to ask you because there's a number of coaches offering different online coaching, and
Yeah.
somebody asked, and I was thinking they're asking what's the advantage of having a online personal coach versus, and I don't mean to sound like a silly question because it probably is to people who work out, but I don't do this regularly. What's the advantage of having a personal trainer online that you pay versus let's say just going to a YouTube channel where you
Okay.
can routines?
Super good question. So my brother asked me that question the last time, right? Like, why are you paying someone? You can just follow YouTube. I'm like, yes, I could. Except, halfway through my YouTube workout when my muscles are burning and I don't want to do those last squats, um, I might like do them halfway or like sit down. And I mean, it happened to me. I've sat down and then the guy on YouTube's like, "You go, girl, go for it. One more," and I'm like, right? I'm like, yeah, I'm gone, right? Whereas with the trainer, I found I started with her just once a week, then I ended up increasing twice a week, and now I'm doing 3 times a week because I found that she's watching your form. So she's like, tummy in, back straight, go lower, like squat lower, or lift, like your arms should be here and not here, right? Like, one is that they'll correct your form in real time. So it's quite interesting that you could be doing the same movement, but if you're not doing the movement correctly with the right form and the right posture, one, you could injure yourself, and two, you're not hitting the right muscles, right? So maybe you're straining your knees because your knees are pushing out and back. Like, so it's good to have someone correct you. And then she will also push, like she pushes me. I'm like, ayoko na, suko na. She's like, come on, one more round, one more round. I know you had wine last night. I know you had a slice of pizza. Like, you can do one more round. And you really get pushed. I mean, that's why you have a trainer, because ultimately we can all Google and research and make our own program, follow YouTube and all of that. But you need someone to push you. Your cheerleader, a coach is there for that. They push you harder, beyond your limits. Carry more weights. Like maybe I'll do 3 pounds. She'll be like, no, do the 6 pounds. I know you can do the 6 pounds. So I think that helps. It really does. It's much more effective for me.
Okay, that makes sense. What's your take on these online personal fitness design meals though? These nutritional balanced or nutritionally designed meals for you.
Okay, so
Tried
I
it.
one look, I have nothing against it per se. Personally, I don't like them because I feel like I would rather cook my own food because I like to cook and I like to know exactly what goes in my food. I think for someone who's very busy or not interested in cooking, it's a very good solution. The problem is I find there's a lot of plastic waste. I get sayang with all those Tupperwares, man. So I'm like, imagine that's three times a day, three little flimsy plastic Tupperwares, times how many times a week, times how many times a month. That's a lot of waste. There are now alternative packaging, so I would be open to try someone who sent it to me in the sort of like cardboard paper packaging, not in these plastic Tupperwares, right? But I think it's a good solution for people who don't like to cook, who don't want to think. But you have to stick to it. If you're snacking on the side kasi gutom ka, then, what's the point? I've been working with Baron Method. Lately, they're a nutritionist. They tailor make like my not meal plans, but they really help me stay on track. And I started out by paying them, and then now I became like their brand ambassador, and I'm very happy. So they guide me what I cook, what I eat, when to eat it, when are the carb days and no carb days. They're really it helps. It helps to have some kind of nutritional guidance, I think. It's 80% food, 20% exercise.
Absolutely, but good point on the wastage and all that, and I'm sure a lot of people will be adjusting now, or a lot because it's a good idea if you don't cook. I guess you're yeah, I
Yeah.
should have known you being that's your passion too. So why would you want to hand that over, outsource it? But yeah, for people who don't cook and you don't understand nutrition, I guess it's a good thing. But you bring up a good point about the packaging.
Those
If there's a way,
plastic Tupperwares.
yeah, because those things, like you said, they do add up. So, but
Yeah.
those are easily fixed if you're aware of it. There are environmentally
Mm-hmm.
friendly packages now that these people can use. Okay,
Yeah.
I wanted to just shift a little bit because try to topic jump a little bit. You're still very very active with Tatler. What's the magazine business like now?
Oh, okay. It's tough,
Yeah,
man. It's
where's the
tough. I won't
future?
lie.
Mm,
So, I mean, I have a few international publications that I've worked for that have fully stopped printing. And it's tough because especially I used to do a lot of like travel writing, so who's traveling anywhere now? I know, for example, airline publications are going to have a hard time because there are no more airline magazines allowed because that's people touching, right, in the airplane, right? It's one of the rules. So I guess everything now is digital consumption. Fortunately for a magazine like Tatler, who does not make their I would say that they don't make money on the sales of the magazine. They make money in advertising. And they've really pushed forward into an integrated approach to media. So there is the print magazine, which we are very proud of, and that we still have print. Also, because our content is evergreen. So you could pick up a magazine from like 3, 4 months ago, and it'll still be an interesting read, right? So it's
mm,
okay to just sit there. It's not like a newsy magazine. And then they've really amped up the digital. So we've got a lot of digital and a lot of these lives and Tatler talks. They're always super nice and exciting. We've been doing them once a month with the cover story. So sometimes I host them, sometimes Anton San Diego, the editor in chief of Philippine Tatler, hosts them. So they're really quite interesting, and everything now is integrated. So even the campaigns, like if there's an advertiser who wants to come in, it's like I want a print component, I want a digital article, and maybe a video. So
mm.
I think the magazines that can pivot quickly into a digital space, and also for people who write out there who are creatives, you need to be able to be savvy in everything. So you should be able to write a long format article and for online content. It's tough. Uh, I know a lot of people who were laid off all across the publications because they just had to consolidate the teams, right? So people are just picking up more work. I mean, I have more work now than before the pandemic for sure, you know.
I think what makes Tatler separate from like what you said is, aside from being evergreen, just the way that you it's put together, the format, the style. It really
Yeah,
is more of a coffee table book already than anything
exactly.
you're trying to get actual information from. It's very visually
Hmm.
pleasing. It's very easy to read, so that yeah, and it's classy. You can leave it in any nice restaurant or lobby, or should I say, or coffee table in your house, and it just adds that and all. But yeah, for the rest of the industry, it's
It's tough.
gotta be like the final nail in the coffin
Yes.
for most of
I
them.
know a lot of magazines who have suffered. I mean, I walked into Fully Booked the other day. I wanted to get like some magazines for, and there was nothing. There was nothing on the shelves. Um, I mean, it's just, and it's so expensive now. Like it's prohibitive. Like you're gonna spend that much, like 500, these international magazines, 500 pesos, 700 pesos on a magazine. And it's like so much thinner now, and just it feels like excess. But I believe in print. I believe people will go back to print. I believe when things pick up and it will come back, you know.
What is it that you believe in print? Like what do you think print offers that other formats don't?
I believe print offers, okay, I'm gonna ask you this question. So let's say there's an article online, right? Like that you like and you read it and you liked it and you bookmark it somewhere, right? How many times do you really go back to that article or that story
Mm,
or whatever? Almost never, right?
yeah, yeah, I guess so. If you're talking about like say highlighting stuff like you would in a
Yeah.
book, yeah.
Yeah, or like so with lifestyle magazines, I would pick up a magazine, I'll read it once, I'll put it down. Maybe when I'm in the toilet, I'll read it again and read something else and then pick up something else. Or, I'm in the bath, I'm gonna read or whatever, waiting. Like I can make, but will it a print magazine, a quality print magazine. I can keep going back to articles, finding other articles, finding things that are not necessarily my interest, but I'm there, so I'm gonna read it. So I find that the digital space is too hyper focused. It's all push and pull. You're never going to read something you're not interested in. Whereas with print,
Okay.
um, if you have it there, you can discover new things
Hmm.
that you might be interested in, right?
Good point. That's well explained, Steph. Because I've been looking for a nice tight explanation for that, and you put it very well. I've always felt it was like I've always used the analogy of print, good print, right? Because you can get garbage
Yeah.
print, but print where people really it's their craft. Tatler being one of those car magazines of like the real passionate ones being one of those. You are served something. You're really served. It's like going to a restaurant where the chef prepares the meal for you and you just
Yeah.
don't decide. And then you just try everything, a degustation or something like that. So, yes, you are pleasantly surprised. And the way you put the push pull thing, you're right. We will not, there's too hyper focus. There's too much going on. If we're not interested, we won't even read it. So, how are
You
we?
won't even look.
Yeah, so it's a vicious cycle because we'll never broaden our minds, and this is where the bubbles, what they call the internet bubbles, or that you form because you literally don't want to learn anything outside what you don't agree with. Whereas a
Yeah.
magazine, you're literally stuck with it. You have to. You're. I guess my pattern before is I would flick through it, and I would just skim through the whole magazine first, just to see which ones I would start with. And you have an order of how you read the thing. And yes, you keep going
Yes.
back. One article might be okay. That's fifth down the line for me, but especially if you leave it on the table or in the bathroom, you're always going to pick it up. So I like that. That's gives me hope. Maybe not in a widespread mainstream anymore like it was, but there'll still be a space. And I also use theater as a good example of that. It's not the most efficient way to entertain at all. You got to get dressed up, spend more, all this, but there's something very special about it because you
Yeah.
can
Oh,
just
Archie
right?
comics. I like Archie comics too, Annalisa. But yes, I agree. I mean, I feel like especially with the internet with the algorithms, right? So the more you are looking, let's say yoga, the more you look at yoga stuff, the more yoga stuff will pop out, and the more only yoga stuff will pop out, right?
Yeah.
It's like then so what if you wanted to discover, I don't know, like hit training or Zumba or wine or travel, and like you can't because now your algorithms are only feeding you yoga stuff, right? So
Yeah.
I think that's the advantage of magazines, newspapers, and print. It's there, and you can go through it, go back to it, and stuff. But I wanted to answer an interesting question there that's like not on this topic but the topic earlier. Someone said, have I ever written like a story or covered a story about cooking like a nice meal from basic relief goods? Yes, please go to my Instagram. I do have an IGTV there. 3 ways with a can of sardines. I have some
Hi, si Tita Steph. We were just praising her interweb, and now, hi, nako. It's either that or maybe her battery died. Ah, well. Well, what I tell you what we'll do. Why don't we do? Oh no, she's back.
Sorry, I'm back. I'm back. Yes.
Then,
Someone called. Someone called. It's so annoying. I'm
mom,
like,
it's your mom.
no.
Is it your mom?
Yes. No, it wasn't my mom. It was a friend. So yeah, I have like recipes on for corned beef. I have some recipes with canned tuna. The recipes 3 ways with a can of sardines, calabasa. Yeah, this is sardine aglio olio. So all very simple ingredients. Yeah, that's
It's
just
called
sardinas.
spaghetti alla ayuda. Ayan, diba?
Yeah, so it's this is with corned beef naman. But yeah, anyway, like there's a lot that you could do, and I have written some stuff there. So this is a corned beef Reuben sandwich.
Steph,
Um,
you can make
there you
relief.
go.
You can make relief goods look like a magazine spread.
It's just platuhan and styling, man. Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Oh, that's so classic. Well, you know what? It is 6 o'clock, and so you know what happens then, right?
Raffle.
Yep, we got another 1K to give away to our Tita Clockers who are online right now. This is a secret raffle for just the Tita Clockers. So we will be drawing from the comments over here. Did not mention it outside. So if you're here right now, good luck, Tita Steph. Do the honors. Poke that yong.
Carl Lee. Yay! What does he win?
1,000 pesos cash sent via
Yay.
e-transfer of some sort. Sana RCBC, but if not, any other bank. But we just frown when we post it. But yeah, so there, 1,000 cash. You can buy a can of sardines. You can buy some noodles, and you can do that garlic aglio olio sardine thing that Steph just showed you. Thanks,
Hey,
Steph,
thank
for
you by the
spending
way for the
time.
cassava cake last
Did you
time.
like it?
Peachy peachy. Oh my god, I ate so much. That's I had to
Everyone loves
exercise after. It was so good.
it. You're welcome, and you can thank Don Benitos too for that.
I
There.
did. Yeah.
Thank you too, and to everyone who's tuned in. And any final words before you go?
No. Oh, yes, I do. The title of my devotional 2 days ago, Live Each Ordinary Day in an Extraordinary Way. It's been my motto the whole week. So
I
I'm
love it.
sharing it with
Perfect
you
way
guys.
to end the show. Thanks to the Steph. See you next Tuesday. And to everyone else,
Bye.
and wash those hands. Bye, guys.
Fancy meeting you in my internet. Couldn't help but notice your smile while everybody else around us is surfing about. Can we just stop and chat a while? Get away from these gray and boring, lonesome days of our quarantine. Early yet to say what lies days ahead. It's just the first day of the rest of our lives. Love could be waiting at the end of this quarantine. Let's stop and talk a while. Let's stop and talk a while.